Alright, hello YouTube. It's me again. I just wanted to share the connection between narcissism and the occult. Now, I don't really know too much history on, excuse me. I don't know too much history on the occult. I don't know too much history on narcissism, but what I do know is that they're connected. I feel like nowadays we're in a spiritual warfare more so than a psychological warfare. I think that's what we just came out of, is psychological warfare. So now the evil is trying to get us into spiritual warfare, because I think the spiritual warfare is probably one of the hardest things to overcome. Now, what I believe to be the connection between narcissism and the occult. Well, I mean, if you think about a cult, most people think witchcraft, sorcery, mind control, hypnosis, abuse, sexual assault, which is all those things. But I also think that the occult is learned narcissism and forced narcissism. I know that good and evil, usually for the most part, don't operate that way, in a sense that, people are forced to make a choice. Everybody's given free will, but I do believe that when a person chooses to be good, the occult will try to force you to be evil, if that makes sense. And what I would consider a cult is a group or a harem filled with narcissistic people, like religion. I'm not saying that religion itself is evil or occultic, but the people who practice, the majority of the people who practice religion are Satanists. Narcissists are Satanists, period. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It does not matter what excuse they make. It does not matter how they play the victim. It does not matter how much shame they feel. It does not matter how much guilt they feel about what they do. They are a Satanist. If you know anybody of an individual that's been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, I don't care how charming you think they are. I don't care how beautiful you think they are a Satanist. And the government has identified them as a Satanist. I don't care what nobody says. Do your research. And then come back and tell me if you want to argue then. Because anybody that sits there and defends a narcissistic person is either an enabler, suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, or they're scared to speak the truth. It's no other way around it. So, with the cults, when you are an individual who is strong-willed, have a strong spirit, and speaks truth, no matter what, the occult are going to be the first people who are going to attack you. Well, I say the second, maybe second. And the reason why I say second is because the first people who attack you, fake friends, so-called friends, fake so-called relatives, are going to be the first ones to attack you, actually. But the second group of people who are going to attack you is going to be the occult. But don't get it twisted. Your fake friends and family are part of the occult. That's why they've been sent to attack you first, because they know you. The cult doesn't know anything about you. The cult doesn't know you. The cult doesn't even know its own members. Doesn't ever care to, has never tried to. So if you're going to defeat an enemy that you don't have any interest on getting to know, how are you going to be able to do that? Sending people that's closest to them. And I mean, it's a classic strategy for war tactics, on top of the fact that it's common chess strategies. So when you're dealing with an enemy that's trying to destroy you, how are they going to be able to do so, given the fact that they're lazy, selfish, greedy, stupid, ignorant, highly unattractive in their spirit and in their soul, how are they going to be able to attack you? How are they going to be able to do that if they're evil to the core and they don't have any support from anyone at all? I don't care about none of that. There's this dude right here from Tampa, Florida that wanted to pull over and look at me funny. I have a suspicion that he's a predator, because he saw me, looked at me, stared at me. You know how predatory men operate. When they see a beautiful woman and she's strong and, you know, isn't with the bullshit, they'll give you that look like, oh, you're so mad at me? What? How dare you stand up for yourself and your rights? How dare you show off your strengths? How dare you talk in a way that makes me feel intimidated as a man? Anyway, I didn't want to get distracted. But yeah, that's how narcissists operate, though. How much you want to bet that dude that just pulled over right there was a narcissist? But see, this is also what I wanted to get into, because I'm fed up with the bullshit. I've been quiet for too long. I've been really just staying in my own lane, doing my own thing, trying to heal and grow and focus on my spiritual journey on top of, you know, other things that I have to do as a human being to function in this world. I've really just been staying in my own lane. But constantly getting provoked by a cult, a narcissistic occult, anybody can get to a point where they're like, nah, I can't take this no more. You gotta go. You entire cult, you've got to go. You can't be here anymore. Even if I go down with you, you've got to go. You can't be here anymore. So I'm about to expose every last one of y'all if y'all don't leave me alone. Sometimes it gets to that point. So that's why I'm making this video. Because the occult, what they do, if they can't track your phone, if they can't follow you everywhere you go, say if you get very intelligent, you get strategic, turn the phone off, leave it at home, you don't buy a phone, whatever you decide to do, you decide to smarten up, and the narcissist can't track you at all, the occult, the narcissistic occult will use witchcraft. Exactly like in The Wizard of Oz. Exactly like that. These people are not playing with you. If you're an empath or a good person in general, these people are not playing with you. They're not playing with you at all. They're your enemies. They're not playing with you. So when you turn off the phone and leave it at home, when you switch up your patterns, say if you decide to move, that really pisses the occult off. They get very angry when you move. They get very angry when you smarten up. They get very angry when you speak up and show no fear. They get angry. And then also on top of that, if you start cutting off narcissistic friends and family, oh, don't even get me started on how much that pisses people off. And even though they try to play it off, they smile in your face, they don't say anything, they're really, really angry. Now think about somebody that's a Satan worshiper. You know, for those who are Christian or religious, and you're a good person, think of a narcissist as a Satan worshiper. What do we know about Satan worshipers? They're the worst scumbags on the earth. They commit some of the worst crimes that anyone could ever possibly be capable of committing, such as pedophilia, rape, murder, physical violence, kidnap, gang stalking, blood sacrifices. You know, right? Isn't that what a Satan worshiper is? Oh, someone that's a cannibal, that eats human flesh. Those are all Satanists, right? So my question is, aren't narcopaths, haven't they committed those same crimes? Have they or have they not? And don't get it twisted, sociopathy and psychopathy is on the same spectrum of narcissism. So, aren't those the people that you see on TV, on First 48 and on TV, and they've been diagnosed as a socio or a psychopath? How is that any different from a Satan worshiper? And I'm just going to keep it real. Most of the psychopaths and sociopaths are the lower levels of Satanism, in my opinion. The ones that are stupid enough to get caught, in a sense that they get sloppy. The real Satanists, they have a little bit of impulse control. But the narcissists, the narcopaths, no. Those are the ones that usually get caught, and you see them on First 48 with them wide eyes, talk about the devil told me to do it type shit. So don't get it twisted. Anybody that's been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, cut them off. Cut them off. Unless you have children with them, cut them off. If they're your mother, your brother, your daughter, your friend, I don't care who they are to you. Your guru, your sensei, cut them the fuck off. And I put emphasis on the cuss word. Because these people are not playing with you. They only play to humiliate and destroy someone. They're not playing with you. Cut them off. I don't care if the narc is 89 years old and they need some assistance. Cut them off. I don't care if they're your child and they got locked up in prison. Cut them off. I don't care if they're your brother or sister or best friend that you grew up with all your life and y'all was buddy-buddy. Cut them off. If they've shown you that they're a narcissist and there's no other doubt about it, cut them off. Or else you are dancing with the devil. Stop now. Cut them off. I don't care how bad their life has gotten. I don't care how they seem to have changed. I don't care how much they beg and plead to come back. Don't ever feed the beast. It's like trying to pet a lion that's hungry. Why would you do that? No matter how loud the lion cries and whimpers for food, you do not go and aid that lion. Stay away from it. So why would you go back to a narcissistic cult when they've shown you how cruel they were? I'm gonna just tell my testimony real quick. I don't know if y'all can hear me. Just give me a second. Yeah, I'm outside taking a nature walk. So, you know, yeah. Okay, so I want to share my experience with the occult real quick. Well, what my experience of my occultic associations. It's not really because I was, I agreed to be a part of that. It was more so that I never agreed to be a part of it in the first place. But give me a second while I'm crossing the street so I can get across safely. Okay. So basically, my experiences with the cult. So when I was 7 years old, I had a dream that... Okay, so this is how the dream was crazy, bro. It felt real. It was crazy, but I'm gonna share the dream that I had. Okay, so the dream started off. My mother was, talking to her boyfriend at the time. They were talking. Then next thing you know, he showed his fangs. He had on like a Dracula outfit, and he showed his fangs. My mother looked at him and was like, I'm interested in the power that you have. I want to possess that power as well. She didn't say it with her words, but the dream was showing me how they were, interacting with each other. So I'm gonna continue. So she was looking at him like, okay, I want that power too. Let me have some of that power. And so he bit her on the neck. and this is my mom's boyfriend that she was dating at the time when I was 7. So he bit her on the neck. She allowed it. She gave consent. So when my mother, after she had gotten bitten, her eyes turned into like a goldish red kind of, you know, look like on Twilight. Do you remember how Edward, how his eyes looked? They were like a golden, I'd say like a golden brown, as opposed to the other vampires that were like pure evil. Their eyes were like bloodshot red. My mother's eyes was like somewhere in the middle between the gold and the red. But it was something I could never forget. Fangs came out. She was like, you know how vampires are. And so my sister saw her. I mean, I was creeped out. I was grossed out and creeped out at the fact that, you know, she had transformed into something I couldn't even recognize. My sister, on the other hand, saw and was like, Mom, let me get a piece of that power. I want some too. So then my mom was like, okay, well, you have to let me bite you on the neck. It has to be your consent. She was like, okay, go ahead. So then my mother bit her on the neck. My sister's eyes, on the other hand, turned like, I don't know if y'all have ever seen the Tyler, the Creator music video, Yonkers. You know how his eyes were dilated like that? Like he was possessed by a demon? That was what my sister's eyes looked like when she transformed, but she didn't show off her fangs. Her eyes were just extremely dilated, like black almost, like all black. And she, you know, I could see that she had transformed into something that wasn't human. And so when after she transformed, my mother, you know, told her in her ear, go see what's up with Bree. Go see if she's interested. So then my sister came up to me and was like, hey, you want to be a vampire? Now, before I finish that story, what I think that was a message. But when I was a kid, around that same age, like around 6 or 7, I used to be a vampire every Halloween because I used to watch a lot of vampire movies. So I would be a vampire for Halloween because it was scary. And you know, with Halloween, you know, with kids, we're innocent. So we don't know that when we dress up as monsters and demons and goblins and goons, that we are saying that it's okay to be evil. We didn't know. A lot of us kids, we don't know better. So when I saw the vampire movies, I didn't think the vampires were real. I didn't think the vampires were real, and I didn't think that they were actually trying to hurt people. So when I dressed up as a vampire, it wasn't because I wanted to drain someone of their blood. It was because I watched a lot of vampire movies and I didn't think that stuff was real, so I thought it was cool. Like, you know, video games. You know what I'm saying? Just whatever. I like scary movies, especially when I was a kid. So that was why I wanted to be a vampire, because I thought they were scary. You know, Halloween, you know, you're supposed to be scary. So I just assumed, hey, you know, why don't I just go ahead and dress up as a vampire every Halloween? I thought it was cool. Then there was this one picture that I took with my sister where she dressed up as Shrek for Halloween. Hilarious costume. Awesome costume, by the way. My sister had an awesome costume. It was very cute. But I was a vampire in that day, and I had like a little blood, like, you know, like little blood, makeup blood, fake blood on my face. And I had the fake teeth. But if you looked at me, I kind of look a lot like a vampire. You know, it was my mom did a very good job on the touch-up makeup and everything. It looked scary as a kid. I could see why a kid would be scared of me, because I actually do look like a vampire, like in the movies. So my sister was like probably like around 4 or 5 around the time. And when she saw me, she was scared of me. Now, I would have never attacked my sister like that. I would have protected her always, but she was scared because she was a child and she didn't understand that I really wasn't a vampire. But something that I noticed, so you know, our costumes look really good. My mom did a good job on the touch-up. I'll give her credit. And so she decided to take a picture. And my sister didn't want to take a picture with me because she was scared of me. Now, I was willing to respect my sister's boundaries. I'm like, hey, I would never hurt you, you know, not intentionally. And just know that if you don't want to take this picture, I won't. My mother insisted because she thought it was hilarious. She thought it was hilarious that my realistic makeup scared the crap out of my young sister and decided to pressure me into taking the picture anyway. When I could clearly see my sister was scared. I mean, she was crying because she was scared. And my mother thought it was hilarious. And so I was like, look, I'm not comfortable taking a picture with my sister. She's scared of me like this. And my mother insisted. So I was like, okay, let me just hurry up and take this picture real quick. You know, and you know what I'm saying? I won't do this again. But it was really uncomfortable for me. And so I stood next to my sister. I could tell she didn't really want to be too close to me, so I was okay with that. So I was like, let's just take the picture and get it over with. So then my mother pressured me into pretending like I was going to bite her. My mother thought that was funny. Even though I see my sister bawling out crying, she's scared of me, and I don't think it's funny. And given, like I said, I was the older sister, I would have killed somebody to protect my sister. Hurt my sister, and I will fuck you up. Like, that was the type of person I was. Excuse my language, but that's just how it is. So when my mother was having me take that picture and telling me to pretend like I was biting her, she didn't even want to be next to me and was crying, it really made me upset. But like I said, I just wanted to hurry up and get it over with because I could tell my mother was not going to let it go until I took that picture. Unfortunately, at my sister's expense, but I knew my mother was not going to leave it alone. Honestly, after that picture, I just wanted to take the makeup off, the costume off, and just, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even want to go trick-or-treating after that, but, you know what I'm saying? No, I did not like that at all. But my mother thought it was absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And I'm sitting here getting pissed off because I'm being forced to take a picture that my sister does not want to take, and she's made it clear, abundantly clear. Okay? And that picture is somewhere probably on my family's social media, but you could see my sister crying through the mask, and you could see how scared she was and how I was, you know, pretending to bite her, but I just really didn't want to hurt her. But I was a child, so I was being manipulated to doing something that I didn't want to do, to attack my sister's, you know, insecurities, and that was not okay. But when you're dealing with narcissistic family members and the occult, this is how they triangulate people against each other using divide and conquer tactics. But let me get back to the dream. So, the dream, my sister, you know, was convinced by my mom to come to me and convince me to let her bite me. Because my mom knew. Like, after I seen my mom's transformation, I was disgusted by her. So my mom kind of was like looking at me because she knew the only way I was going to be able to transform was if my sister convinced me, because my sister was the closest person to me, the closest person to my heart. I was very protective of my sister. Very, 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 very protective of my sister. Very. Like, to the extent where I would hurt anybody that just mess with her for no reason. Like, I love my sister. I loved her. My mother knew that. So anyway, so my mom told my sister to come convince me to get bitten. So my sister came up to me and asked me if I wanted to be a vampire. Now, in my head at the time, I was young, so I was like, ooh, vampire, cool. Whatever. In the movie, like in the movies, yeah. Whoa. You know, because I'm innocent, right? So she comes to me and is like, yeah, you want to get bitten? I was like, wait, what? She was like, yeah, that's how you have to be a vampire. That's how you transform. You have to let me bite you. I was like, hell no. Nah, I'm good. You said bitten? Nope. She was like, are you sure? I mean, It's like 2 seconds worth of pain, but it'll be over real quick. I'm telling you, it's awesome. All the powers, and I was like, ooh, powers, strength, immortality. That's really awesome. But I don't want to get bitten and suffer that pain. And I don't want to transform into a monster in order to be a vampire. Because, you know, in the movies, they show the vampire as a human, but they just have fangs. But what I saw in my dream wasn't like, well, it was like in the movies, but I got a taste of how real that shit is and how evil it is. I didn't understand. I just, you know, like I said, I was innocent, watched vampire movies, thought it was cool, but I didn't support the evil. I didn't support the fact that the vampires actually killed innocent people, and it didn't register in my mind that vampires are actually beasts more than they're human. So, and then they have to go through the process of getting bitten, somebody stabbing their fangs into their neck and leaking poison into their body. That was the process, and I didn't want to go through that. I was like, if I can't be a vampire by elevating spiritually or naturally, I don't want to be one. As cool as vampires seem, no, I'm not trying to get bitten, and I'm not trying to turn into a monster. I'm good. No, thank you. So my sister was like, well, if you want to hang with the family, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be able to walk in the sunlight, but you can hang with the fam. I'm like, what? So not only do I have to get bitten, transform into a monster, but I can't walk in the sunlight? Are you serious? She was like, yeah. I'm like, no, that's bullshit. No, I'm good. So my sister backed off. Because I was like, no. I said no, clearly. It was a clear no. I was not changing my mind. I was like, no. Hell no. No, I'm good. I ain't trying to go through no pain. I shouldn't have to. And then if anything is good for me, say immortality, superhuman strength, why doesn't it come naturally? Why do I have to turn into a beast to achieve that? Nah, I'm good. And then in order to survive, I have to drink human blood. No, thank you. It seemed like more cons than there was pros. Like the only pros of being a vampire was superhuman strength, immortality, but over time, immortality, because you lose all your friends and family that don't decide to be a beast like you. They all die, and you're stuck alone. You have to meet other people, start another family, have kids, and they all die again. Everybody's wondering why you're not aging, and everybody else is. Your kids look older than you. It's just, immortality sounds great, but it sounds like hell to me. Anyway, like the episode on the Twilight Zone, where there was this man who was close to Julius Caesar, and he was given the quote-unquote gift / curse of immortality. That episode on the Twilight Zone, basically the way things ended was he kept going from family to family and leaving the family because people were questioning why he wasn't aging. And it was getting to the point where his kids looked like his grandparents. And, you know what I'm saying, his kids died before he did. And it was a life of hell because he had to keep going from family to family, explaining. And in some cases, he couldn't explain because, you know, they may have tried to attack him for his blood. Whatever the excuse was,